We could not survive on this planet if we do not understand that we have to understand each other with our past and to collaborate. And we cannot collaborate if we do not recognize the other with his history as an equal. So, I'm born in Romania, but I became a German writer. I'm writing in German since 1996. I live in Berlin since 1990, after the fall of the wall. I wrote several books. They are autobiographical, but they are reflecting a certain time in European or in history generally, and talking about life in dictatorship, under the dictatorship. It is a personal and also a collective view on my subjects and on the system. I got in touch with Professor Sara Jones and the network culture as its use as testimony. The network was dealing with personal and collective history, which my books are also have this as subject. And through the network, it came to the play. Sara Jones had the idea that, and in fact it's a natural consequence of our collaboration. The play has the title of one of my books, A Land Full of Heroes, but the play is not only based on this. It's based on the personal experience and the collective experience. I was writing about the revolution. I wanted to understand.
The book A Land Full of Heroes.
Yes, the book A Land Full of Heroes. I wanted to understand what it was. It focuses very much on the moment of the revolution, that moment where everything collapses, when a society collapses, a system, a dictatorial system collapses, and first at the beginning there is something like a gap, and then society starts to restructure and humans start to find themselves a place under the new consequences. What was it? That moment, was it kitsch, putsch, revolution or civil war? What happens with society when everything collapses, and what happens with a society that is considered itself a collective, and where individuals and individuality is banned, and you have to identify yourself with a community, with a collective. It was a very important and powerful experience for me to, first of all, to play myself and my character Maria, also to be staged by somebody, I mean to be filtered by a stage director. It was also very interesting and strange to see myself as a young person played by my daughter, a professional actress, and at the same time having her on stage as Meda, my daughter herself, who also created her own monologues and was reflecting on her relationship with me as mother and as a writer. The workshops, I think, were a natural evolution of the network, and they represent, in fact, an extension of the writing about the self and the discovering of the self, and the participants were writing about their personal experience, but in the frame of their political system. For them, it was important to meet somebody with a totally different experience, and to show how important it is to discover who we are, our own voice, to be able to articulate it and to free ourselves and transform our experiences, sometimes tragical experiences, into something that is useful for humanity. The network and the testimony in practice brought to life by Professor Sara Jones had a visionary attitude, because otherwise all these things wouldn't have existed. Novels, yes, but the play and all these experiences that enriched each of us, and suddenly it became an international project. It was a great achievement, you know, to put Europe together in such a condensed way.